This conference will now be recorded.
So CDM role I'm going to explain. In the process of the clinical trial, I'm going to explain. So what exactly a role of the CDM in the complete clinical trial process. So what is clinical trial? I'm going to explain first. So clinical trial is nothing but testing the new drug on human beings. But the thing is, whenever the pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, whoever, they're called sponsoring companies, they're the one they're going to fund, finance, organize the clinical trials. So the sponsoring companies, when they do research and development, R&D, when they do research and development, they are not going to directly release the drug into market. They are not going to directly release the drug into market. Initially, they test the drug on animals. Animal testing is called preclinical trials. It is also called non-clinical trials. Preclinical, also called non-clinical. So this is the testing the new drug on animals like guinea pig, rat, mice, monkeys. That means they are not directly test. They are not going to directly test the drug on animals. So testing the new drug on animals after completion of this testing process. So we are going to start with the clinical trials. So here in the preclinical, mainly we look for the main objective is pharmacology and toxicology, like which is pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. What drug does to the body, what body does to the drug. We thoroughly study and will decide toxicological properties of the product here. So then we'll go with the clinical trial. But when they are going with the clinical trial also, when they are going with the clinical trials also, they will not directly go with the clinical trial. They should get approval first. So from where do we get this approval from? FDA, Food Drug Administration. Different countries, different regulatory authorities. Okay, FDA is a US regulatory authority. So we get investigational new drug application. So approval, investigational approval. So we use the application called INDA. This is investigational new drug application. That means before we start investigating the drug on human beings, we should get this approval from the FDA. In order to get this approval, we submit investigational new drug application. So this is the application by which pharmaceutical companies will get approval from the FDA. So once we get the successful approval, we are going to start clinical trial. Clinical trial is nothing but testing the new drug on human beings with the main objective of safety and efficacy. Safety and efficacy of the new drug. Safety as well, efficacy of the new drug. Okay. So this clinical trial will, the main objective here, safety and efficacy of the new drug. Previously, the preclinical objective is pharmacology, toxicology. There also we look for safety and efficacy only, but in terms of safety, in terms of pharmacology, toxicology. So when you are starting clinical trial, testing the new drug on human beings, so the main objective is safety and efficacy of the new drug. Safety as well. So this will be done in 3 phases to confirm, to know the safety and efficacy. We are going to split this into 3 phases. Phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 1 mainly focus on the safety. Phase 2 will focus on safety and efficacy. Third phase is safety and efficacy again. After completion of this third phase, before we get into market, we are going to release the drug into market. Before we get into market, we should get approval from FDA. So this is called marketing approval. It's called marketing. Okay. So we should submit NDA, new drug application. So this time we use NDA by including all the preclinical trials data, clinical trial and the preclinical trials data. Once the drug is into market, once drug is into market, we start phase 4. It's also called post-marketing surveillance, PMS. So this is to detect the rare, unusual, and long-term adverse effects. Rare, unusual, long-term adverse effects, side effects. Okay. So this is the complete clinical trial because once the drug is into market, different people will be exposed to the drug with different food habits, different lifestyle, different medications. That's the reason we'll get chance to see rare, unusual, and long-term side effects. So which may not be observed in phase 1 to 3, may not be seen, may not be detected, listed in the phase 1 to 3. Okay. So this is what your complete clinical trial process. In this complete clinical trial process, okay, what is the role of CDM, Clinical Data Management? So CDM ultimately clean the data. Why cleaning? I'm going to explain. In this 5-step process, you can look at 5-step process. Ultimately, in the entire process, pharmaceutical companies, in the complete process, if you can look at pharmaceutical companies, will get approval from FDA. So tell me, how many approvals do we need? Tell me, how many approvals do we need? You can just check a complete process, step
Two,
1 to step 5.
two approvals. Yeah.
Two.
2 approvals. One is investigation approval, other one is marketing approval. So one approval that we need to get before we start clinical trials, another approval we should get before we get into market. So here we include preclinical trials data, here we include clinical trials data. So we should get two approvals. We should include the two approvals. In order to get these two approvals, we should always submit the data. But this data we cannot directly submit because the data is raw data is huge data is non-standard data, and data is complex data. Okay. So that's the reason pharmaceutical companies, sponsoring companies definitely should process the data. Should process the data. Pharmaceutical companies should process the data. Okay. So do they process directly in case if they have the setup, if they have the team with the technical sufficient uh, equipments or sufficient systems, sufficient staff, generally they'll be able to do. Even pharmaceutical companies also will do all these data related activities. But most of the companies will outsource to other companies called CRO, contract research organization. So it is a company contracted by the sponsor. It is a company contracted by the sponsor to do to conduct the clinical trial. At the same time, whatever the data that is generated from the clinical trial, they are going to manage. So there are three teams working on the data. Basically three teams. We have a lot of other teams also. In and around clinical trials, we have a lot of other teams also works. But these are the three teams which will mainly work with the data, clinical trial data, especially if you take safety data, adverse effects, there will be separate team called pharmacovigilance team or drug safety team. So CTM team, and also we have statistical teams. What clinical trial team do, where exactly they sit and work? They'll be at the site. So this is called multi-centered. Multi-centered. Multiple locations we conduct the clinical trial, multiple places, multiple sites we conduct the clinical trials. It is called multi-centered. Multi-centered. So what these people do, they recruit the subjects. Generally, it will be done at the hospital, clinics like that. They recruit the subjects. They'll have certain criteria. As per the criteria, they recruit the subjects. They recruit the subjects as per the criteria and they collect the data. So this data is called baseline data. This data is called baseline data. After this, they start with the treatment with the new drug. Again, they'll collect the data. at the different follow-up visits. So the entire data will be collected on the forms called CRF, case report forms. Case report forms. So your whole data will be collected on the form called case report forms. So this is the data. This is the form, document form, which is used to collect the data from the patients. Okay. So whatever the data that is collected on the CRF is raw data. We cannot directly submit this data to FDA, isn't it? So this data need to be processed, analyzed, validated. First step, we are going to do validation. That will be done by the CDM, Clinical Data Management. Okay. So CDM team will handle the data. In the second level, CDM will work. So CDM is to clean the data. This is to clean the data. This is to validate the data. Clean and validate the data. Using databases called EDC tools. EDC tools. Okay. So they handle the raw data. So what do you mean by raw data? Invalid data. Inconsistent data. Illogical data. Invalid, inconsistent, illogical, incomplete data. Incomplete data. So let me show you one example for the incomplete data. All the examples of the raw data. I'm going to show you one simple example. You can observe this one. Did you observe any discrepancy here? Any discrepancy in the injection site reaction, especially in the dates? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are two dates written, like the 10th January and 9th January
Correct.
2011.
10th
Yep.
January is start date. It is given resolution date of that adverse event is 9th January.
Yeah, that's what, like, because it was not clear for us that only now we could see the tabs here
Oh,
clearly.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah, so this is the date discrepancies is there.
So dates are not in the logical
The
sequence.
order, yeah, it's not in the order.
Yeah. So this is called illogical data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is called illogical data. Now, if you can just check this vital signs also, you will find discrepancy here too.
So it's 8th January. So start at 1:35:67. Spiritual restaurant. So what they say, like where the vital signs taken, it says no.
Mm, true. So were vital signs taken? They are selecting no here, but
Mm-hmm.
they actually collected the vital signs.
Yes.
So this is called invalid data. Invalid data.
So this is what the CDM checks, you say?
Correct. So
Oh,
CDM
okay.
will write a check in order to identify the discrepancy like this. But
Mm-hmm.
this part we are going to learn theoretically at the same time practically.
Okay.
Both we are going to do theoretical sessions and practical sessions.
Mm-hmm.
How to identify them? Theoretically, we are going to learn, and practical. Complete process we are going to do here. The CDM has three-step process: startup, conduct, closeout. All the three steps we are going to learn theoretically and practically.
So
So,
like you mean practically means it is there are some tools or like some software for it
correct.
or it's
Database.
manual?
No, no, it's not manual. It's a
Okay.
database.
Okay.
We use database, okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to do all these things,
Okay.
to identify complete startup, conduct, closeout. All these we are going to learn with the database only, tool only.
Okay.
So what team do? They capture the data into databases. They capture the data. Once they capture, system will run validation checks called edit checks. But only edit checks are not enough. We even do manual checks also. In the system, in the database, we even perform the manual checks. In order to identify the discrepancy, we are going to run the validation checks. Once the discrepancy is identified, identify, locate, and resolve. Locate, resolve. So we do query management, query resolution. We'll do query resolution. Okay. So we'll generate a query, we'll communicate this query with the site, and we'll get this query clarified from the site. It's called resolution of the query. Once a discrepancy is created, okay, we write a query and send it to the site to get the query clarified. Once all queries are clarified, once all the discrepancies are done, we are going to lock and freeze the data. Log the data, freeze the data, and we'll extract the data. Extract the data. Using extract the data into SAS systems, into statistical systems. So, This is what exactly CDM do. To do this one, they have a three-step process. Three-step of life cycle: study startup, study conduct, study. So SAS is to analyze the data, represent the data. Once SAS read the data, it will analyze, represent, finally create the TLF, table listing figure. They generate the report and they submit to FDA. So this is complete life cycle of the data, you can see. Complete life cycle of the data. So clinical trial team collecting data on the CRF. That CRF data will be entered into databases. They validate. Then the data will be extracted into SAS systems. There they will be analyze the data. They will analyze the data and represent the data and send it to FDA. This whole process in the CDM we are going to learn. In the
Excuse me.
yeah, please.
Yeah, can I ask you a question now, or should I wait till the end?
No problem. You can ask. Yeah.
So who is the SAS team?
Statistical team is a biostatistician programming team.
Oh, so like the kind of engineers.
It's kind of database programmers, data
Oh,
programmers.
okay. So the
Statistical
CDM has
programmers.
nothing to do with the SAS teams.
No, no, no. They will
Okay.
coordinate if we have any queries and all. But their CDM need not know the coding part,
Oh, okay.
programming part. Okay. Every class you'll get the notes. Every class you'll get the recording link. Assignments will be given. Okay, assignment will be given. Assessments will be conducted. Interview questions, mock interviews, resume preparation. Okay, these are all direct access to database. You'll be having access to database, and in fact, you'll be working on the database. If you can see the curriculum, so clinical trial theory will be covered. Part 1, CR theory will be covered, clinical trial theory. And the CDM theory will be covered. Third one, statistical theory will be covered. Hands-on training will be given. Clinical trial theory, CDM theory, then hands-on training will be given on the database. Here I'm going to cover Oracle Clinical Database, Oracle RDC database, and Rave EDC database, out of which Rave EDC is the PowerPoint presentation, and with the PowerPoint I'm going to explain with the screenshot, and this Oracle Clinical hands-on live. So this is what your curriculum. And what roles, this will take approximately 6 to 7 weeks, daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. Okay. And the features we did, and I'm going to explain on the job roles you can apply and where you can apply. Any CRO company you can apply, any pharma company you can apply, any company you can apply, IT company, MNC company, lot of small scale companies also there. And these are all job roles you can apply.
What
So we are
about
going to learn
eligibility?
end-to-end clinical trial theory, then the CDM theory, then complete practical sessions you will be exposed to. Yeah. Can you repeat again?
Yeah, like for these roles, like what is the eligibility and like study requirements for these roles in US market? Like what like just a
It
graduation
depends
degree?
upon the job posting only. Commonly, they'll ask 1.5 year to 1 year to 1.5 year experience. Commonly, from jobs,
The science
some jobs
background?
you'll be having entry level also. Yeah. You're
Uh,
asking something?
yeah, like regarding the hands-on training on databases, so will we be given access to that, or is it something like we
Uh-huh.
can do only when you're taking the sessions?
No. It's not. You will be getting access. Apart from my study, I'll be taking one study to explain you.
Mm-hmm.
Another study you will be choosing and you'll be practicing on the database.
So
You'll
like
have access.
on our on our own time we can do it.
You can do
So
own time. In your own time, you can do except 2 to 7 Eastern time in the afternoon.
okay, so how long will we have access to this?
It's there is no limitation. Even after 1 year, also you can
Okay,
practice.
so we can keep practicing. So
Correct.
if we have any doubts in that, like after like this
You
is
can
how
ping
long?
me. You can
Oh,
ping
okay.
me, no problem. Anytime I'll be available for the doubts.
Okay, like even after this, how
Even
long is
after
this course?
6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks, it will take.
6 to 7 weeks. So
Mm.
the theory will be done within like like
Three
how
weeks,
many weeks?
approximately 3 to 4 weeks, and
Oh,
practical
okay.
sessions also 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. So is it like simultaneously, or you'll finish the theory first and then the
No. First
practical?
theory, then practical sessions.
Okay. So because like this clinical data management, I see like yeah, online it is like a big thing, right? So is it enough, this time period, is it enough to finish off
That's the
like,
reason I'm just telling the 6 weeks, but it will definitely take. It may take 8 weeks also. 2 months enough to learn. It's a big
oh,
thing,
okay.
but though in the conduct part, if you learn, if you do 1 day task, remaining all the days more or less same.
Mm-hmm,
That part you need to learn what exactly they do in 1 or 2 days,
mm-hmm.
because it is routine process.
Okay.
Only in that conduct startup conduct closeout, right? Startup only, not repetitive. Remaining
Mm-hmm.
all repetitive.
Okay. So because this is kind of new, so you will, um, as much
No
as time
worries.
needed, you will
No,
just help us, right?
no worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Even with the single keyword also. No problem.
Okay. So like you will help with the like you said with the interviews and everything also, right?
Mm, mm. True.
So like can I know your background? Like what are you?
My background is I completed long ago, long back. So my background is from the chemistry actually.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But I jumped into this one long back,
Mm-hmm.
almost 16, 15, 16 years back.
Oh, okay. So you're working or you're just doing this teaching now?
I'm working. I'm working. Teaching is my part time.
Oh, okay. No, what I'm asking, are you working in a pharmaceutical company or?
I'm working as a clinical data manager.
Oh, okay. So you will have more practical, not like day-to-day knowledge what we need, right, for the to be successful
You're
in the
going to
work.
deal with a database. I'm going to
Mm.
compare whatever we're learning in Oracle Clinical. I'm going to compare with the Ray VDC also, so that you'll
Okay.
get exposure to both the databases.
Oh, okay. So if you know one Oracle, you say we can this Ray VDC is kind of similar.
Kind of similar. The process
Oh,
will be same. The interface differ.
mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll be explaining even Ray VDC also step by step.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
Not now though. Maybe I have to think.
Okay, no problem. You can talk
Yeah.
with Sagar once, okay?
Okay.
Okay, then.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, welcome today. Let us discuss even timings also, Prabha. What is your
Yeah, I'm in
time zone?
Eastern time zone.
Okay. What time
Yeah.
is convenient for you in the evening or in the morning?
Mornings are fine. Like
Okay. Even afternoons also? Like this?
afternoon, like yeah, this like it is like 1 hour sessions you said, right?
1 hour, yeah.
I It's like, can you do something in the morning, like 11 kind of thing? Are you available at that time?
11, not, no.
Okay.
I'm not
So,
available at
so
11.
what times you are available for the
This
mornings?
time, 12th, your time zone Eastern time, you said, right?
Yes, yeah. 12
Around
is also
1:30, 12 is also
12:30.
fine.
Yeah,
Later
12
I
is
can shift. Later I can shift, but first 1 week, can you adjust 1:30 or in the evening also fine?
e
1:30, yeah.
evening means what time you say?
Oh, Eastern time it will be late for you, evening.
Hmm.
Evening also I can accommodate 8:30 in the evening. Will that be late for you?
No, 8:30 Eastern time is fine, but
Fine.
like the 12 is good for me because then I can be done with
Afternoon?
this. Yeah, afternoon
Uh-huh.
12 is fine.
No problem. I'll just make a note. After a few days, we can shift. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, let me think it over and then who should I call? Like
Yeah,
again,
you can talk with Sagar. No problem. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. See you.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Syed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Syed. Any questions?
No, no, clear.
Okay. You can even. What is your time zone?
Yeah, EST only.
Morning or evening? What is your comfortable timing?
The afternoon is fine. Afternoon or evening.
After?
Yeah, afternoon or maybe in the
Okay. Is 12:30 fine for you? Sorry, 2:30. Okay. Once talk with Sagar. Even timings also. Okay. So I'm going to close the meeting. If you still have any questions, also you can ask at the time of training. No worries. Okay.
So one question, like, so if
Yeah.
you decide to go forward, so when does the class starts?
In 1 or 2 days, it will be started. Depends upon the time. Okay. 1 or 2 days, it will be started. Maximum 1 day, maximum 2 days. Within 1 day, also it will be started. Let's say if you
Oh,
decide
okay.
today, tomorrow onwards, we can start the sessions.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me think and I'll call like
Okay. Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. You can call them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Welcome. Good day. Bye.